Talks. I'm in PhocusWire Studio at Travel Technology Europe, and I am with Evan Konwiser of American Express, even Global Business Travel, and he is EVP Product and Strategy. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Linda.
So I just want to start with the Rest Assured product.
Yeah.
So that for me is American Express, Global Business Travel, bringing together all of its hotel elements.
Yes.
But what I started thinking was actually, is it more about the data that you can get as a result than unifying the technology elements?
I think it's both. I mean, I think what we've seen in the marketplace is a lot of really exciting developments in what we can do for our clients around hotel. And what we wanted to do was bring it together in one end-to-end solution and show how when you put the components together, you really have a comprehensive hotel solution that we think is market leading. And that's really important to us, so our clients understand how we're thinking about the marketplace and that we're really making sure that it is an end-to-end solution. And so we're adding some new things to it with the Rest Assured launch, like our hotel guarantee.
Yeah, that was a feature,
We've been aggregating hotel content for years. Booking content, Expedia content, public GDS content, our private preferred extra rates, which include amenities and discounts, obviously our corporate negotiated rates for our clients. And so we do third-party testing to make sure that our travelers are getting the absolute best price in the marketplace. But what we've seen from studies is that travelers still don't trust the pricing, and they still feel like they have to shop around. Part of that is we're not articulating as clearly that it might be a booking rate or Expedia rate to drive confidence that they don't need to go to booking separately. And part of it is, trying to back that up with our promise to our clients and ultimately the travelers to drive confidence. And so the hotel guarantee is really about driving confidence to try and really communicate that full content value proposition to our clients and travelers.
And do you think, I can see the travel managers and perhaps if the financial directors going for the rate guarantee. Is it enough? I feel like that kind of shopping around behavior is now ingrained in all of us.
Yeah, I think you get trained over time based on your experiences, what the right behavior is. So part of it is a bit of confidence, on what the content is. And part of it is also better digital experiences so that we know that travelers are looking for hotels all over and we want to make sure it's easy. So part of it is the content there, and then is it easy to buy the hotel? And I think if we can bring those two elements, we can really change behavior over time. Do we expect that travelers will continue to shop on OTAs and hotel websites as they look at comparing hotels? It's inevitable.
Yeah.
I think we all do that, whether it's meta-search, et cetera. But, what I've seen, and I think what we've seen over time is, as people do that and they see that they're getting the right price and the right amenity, they will use the right channel that delivers the right value prop. And so with our private rates, with better amenities on top of that, with the service promise of a travel agency, I think the value prop of booking with the TMC is actually better. It's just about ensuring that travelers understand that value prop.
Yeah, so there's an education process there as well. So then one of the things that's mentioned in the information about the release of Rest Assured is talking about algorithms to serve up better choices that they will pick up on, So maybe 3 choices as opposed to the millions that they get served outside of a travel program. But I remember Booking.com for Business saying that they had basically done some sort of test and learn stuff and presented their business travelers with just one property, and that business travelers overwhelmingly hated it.
Yes.
They didn't want just one.
Yes.
So how do you find the balance?
So it's funny, we've experienced that ourselves. So when we first acquired Neo, the booking tool now just over 3 years ago, they had a door-to-door process that had one recommendation. And we saw the same thing in their data, which was travelers were a little bit uncomfortable with that. They like shopping around. The flip side is when you have the supermarket view, the alternative, it can be intimidating. And for a business traveler, it can just take too long to sort through. So what we did on Neo as an example, and we've done it with our Trip Recommender product, which uses our algorithms to recommend hotels, is we've started in the 3 to 5 range, where we have a recommendation 3 to 5, but then the full supermarket right behind it. So you get to look at your top choices. If you want it, you click one click and it's done. If you're not satisfied, very quickly you can see a much longer list to generate confidence or find that hotel that maybe wasn't in the display that you expected. But interestingly enough, when we show our Trip Recommender product, which is predominantly through email right now, we have it through a few channels, but email is the most successful channel, we get pretty good results on it because those recommendations are not based on hypotheses, they're based on where you've stayed before. And they're based on where colleagues of yours at your company have stayed before. And when you can do that, you can really move the needle using that. So it just, it's all a game of how do you deliver the right UX, but then also what is the data you're using to drive those recommendations? If it's a guess, then clearly one is not going to work.
Okay. So Can you give anything away in terms of further or sort of future enhancements, or give us something to think, what might we think about going forward with the Rest Assured Solutions product?
Yeah, so there's a couple areas where we see a lot of opportunity. So we talked a bit about content. I think we're going to continue to source more content into the engine and use that to ensure that our travelers are getting that full view and continue to enforce credibility around that content.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a theme, because that has to come out not just in our pitch to clients, but in the experience for the travelers as well. So when we think about that purchasing experience and the digital hotel shopping experience, we want to continue to enhance that with our OBT partners and with our own digital products as well. And so we're going to continue to push hotels through channels that travelers want it, whether it's through agent channels as well as through digital channels. And I think another area that you're going to see a lot of evolution on is on the payment side. So today I think we have a very competitive payment product partnered with Confirma and delivering the virtual payment capability that clients are really enjoying. And we're enhancing that now as well with some new features. But we're looking at a couple leapfrog opportunities in this space. We think there's a big opportunity to build more seamlessness in how the payment information is given to hotels and how folio information is returned, and how we can really create a much more end-to-end solution for the traveler experience that ultimately drives value for the company as well, and VAT reclaim and quality of data for expensing, et cetera. And so that's an area where we're investing heavily this year, and I expect that we're going to have some good upgrades to Rest Assured on some real leading payment tech this year.
Could you foresee a time where actually paying a hotel and doing the kind of reconciliation in the back end is as easy as Apple Pay or another payment mechanism?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I would say almost easier, like completely hands off for the traveler.
Okay.
That's what we're going for.
So literally walk past the reception desk and you have checked out kind of.
Literally, yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, that's what we're going for. And I wouldn't say that that's realistic on 100% of hotels.
Sure.
But if you think about where business travel is consolidated and our partnership with those hotels, I think getting it to a vast majority of business hotels, that kind of experience flow and data flow is obtainable, and that's what we're really working towards.
Okay. So now, you have been observing the whole business travel market now for pushing 3 years in terms of your current role in American Express Global Business Travel. Is that right?
I've been at GBT now 5 years.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Time flies and we're all having
flies.
fun.
Exactly.
So on that and observing the whole digital traveler experience, what would you say are the greatest improvements we've seen in, say, the past couple of years? And what do you think in terms of going forward? Will there be a kind of big bang in terms of that frictionless, or do we just continue to see those incremental builds?
I think we continue to see improvement, but it's real improvement. I don't think it's things that are really driving the experience for travelers. We've seen a lot of challenges in our space, and how TMCs have adopted to solve those challenges, I think, have really shown value for travelers and customers. We've seen over the last 5 years content continue to fragment. So that's an arms race, right? As content's fragmenting, TMCs have to catch up and build better content technology and better tools to sell that content. The point of sale, whether it's OBTs, online mobile experiences, agent tools have to catch up to now merchandise and sell that, and we see evolvements there. Those are not going to feel like big bangs to travelers. They're going to feel, and clients, they're going to feel like evolutions, but they're really important evolutions that if you think of where we are today, our ability to sell an NDC fare, our ability to merchandise content, our ability to pull in, a combination of air and hotel content sources, is really important. And I don't think we should belittle it in the context of the overall value prop for a client and for a traveler. The idea that we can now have hotel content from all sorts of sources coming out through all channels, it is a big deal for our business.
It does feel like that part of it has happened quite quickly.
Yeah, over the last few years, obviously in mobile tools, we're trying to expand our ability to support the traveler, on the ground and as they travel through the day, whether it's our messaging and Apple Business Chat we launched last year. These are really important improvements to traveler experience that I think are impacting the day-to-day lives of business travelers. And so while each individual feature may seem like a feature launch and not a big bang, I think if you think about where the traveler experience is, the content experience and the customer experience today, we've seen a lot of evolution and progress. And I also think there's a lot of patient execution that has to happen to drive real benefit over a long period of time. One of the lessons that I've had in the last 5 years since I was an entrepreneur before I came to GBT, is it really takes time to build foundational technology at scale, make it work in a complex ecosystem, globalize it, and deliver value to customers and travelers. And so sometimes the payoff for that is over a long haul, but that's how our industry has always evolved. And while certainly, I wish there was a magic wand, and we'll wave that magic wand here or there to try and move things faster, and we're certainly committed to the investment. But for us, this is a long play. We're now in a position We recapitalized the business. We're looking at a decade-long plan here, where we're really talking about and continuing to heavily invest in technology and experience for the long haul. And I think that's what I think is going to enable us to really continue to invest. So maybe there'll be a couple big bangs in there, but it's really about constant, patient execution.
So just in terms of technology investment, it's interesting because Greg O'Hara quite often talks about the fact that you are investing so much, but nobody wants to know that you're investing so much. Why for him is that such a bugbear, do you think?
What do you mean, as far as?
Well, I remember he was on the stage at the most recent PhocusWire conference, and he was saying, well, we invest. Was it 100 million? I can't remember. It was a big sum of money in technology. And nobody ever wants to talk about that. Nobody ever wants to print that story. And I think he was comparing it to the money that's going into some of the startups at the moment. He says, why are they getting all the headlines when essentially they might not be doing anything that's different, and yet we're doing all of this stuff, and you don't want to, so.
Well, I think you can write about it, Linda. But the number Greg said on stage, I think we had mentioned that GBT had spent $600 million on technology, infrastructure, and product and technology in the first 5 years of the joint venture as incremental investment. That's beyond running the BAU tech stack and product stack. And we're continuing to invest at a very significant level, 2020, and beyond. And we're probably putting, I would say, as much, if not more, probably more discretionary capital into technology than even some of the venture capital subsidized companies out there.
Right.
So I agree. Certainly, we're definitely ensuring that we're putting the right capital, and more than any other TMC, into the business. That's very important to us. Because that returns to customers, it returns to travelers, it returns to our supplier partners, and ensuring we can sell their product in the right way. And all that's really important. Obviously, we're not as sexy a company to write about than some of the startups, particularly the unicorn startups, and that's just the nature of the media cycle. But I can tell you, our clients and our prospects and our travelers, they pay attention, and they get into the weeds on our investment, and we ensure that they understand where the money's going, why it's going there. I start every prospect or client meeting off with our philosophies around investment, and then how we're deploying capital behind those philosophies. Because for us, our clients are not just there to receive what we throw at them. They're there to align with us on a vision of the industry and then work with us to get there. And so I can promise you that our clients are very well aware of that capital.
So then kind of on that, I think he mentioned, going forward in, future investment. And so what kind of are the gaps would you have said for American Express
going forward?
Yeah.
So we're continuing to invest in many of the same things that we have been, because the job continues. So obviously one big area is around content. How we aggregate content, reduce fragmentation, normalize it, put in amenities, retail it effectively. I mean, it's NDC, but it's just fair families, it's fair attributes, it's flight quality things, hotel attributes. We have machine learning algorithms that understand whether it's 2 beds or 1 bed in the room. Okay. This is an amazing amount of technology that is important to empower our industry.
Is that developed internally as opposed to buy, though?
Internally.
Yeah.
So obviously we work with third parties like Route Happy, an ATP Co company, for flight attributes, for example. But all of our aggregation and delivery technology is completely proprietary. And that's really important to us. We have to own our own destiny when it comes to content, especially since it's so important it's really the foundation of every travel program. And so we will own our own destiny there when it comes to content delivery and content aggregation. And that continues to be a major investment area for us in driving, better experiences for travelers and the right economic outcomes for our clients. So that's certainly there. And then we're going to continue to double down in the traveler experience when it comes to their digital experience, mobile, our new portal product that we're launching this year, and really building a seamless end-to-end digital experience for travelers, one identity that they can use across the GBT ecosystem and contact self-service tools or full-service tools anywhere they want. Telephone, chat, Apple Business Chat, messaging, mobile app. We want to be easy to access.
Yeah.
And I think TMCs have made it too hard to do business with them over the last years. We have thousands of agents around the world, high quality there to support travelers and make their lives easy. So we're trying to reduce the barrier of travelers to reach those agents to deliver high quality service. That's one of our great assets. We really believe the secret sauce continues to be the combination of human intelligence and technology. And so the more that we build products and services for the traveler experience that blend those two, the more we know we're really adding great value for customers. So we'll continue to invest very heavily there. And then, we continue to focus on our global platform. We have now what we call our core platform foundation, but we continue to work around, building up the pieces around the world and standardizing our global toolkit for our larger customers that want more consistency and standardization across the world. And all the tools and features that global customers are expecting to manage a program, whether it's fare assurance and rate assurance, whether it's our data and analytics products. We have, I think, the best, most sophisticated and flexible data lake in the industry, and continuing to push our BI tools, integrating with customers through APIs so that we're building the right value prop for our larger customers that want integrations, connecting to the risk providers, duty of care providers, and working in the ecosystem. We continue to focus heavily on those items as well.
So just because you mentioned communication channels there, voice, just briefly your views on voice in terms of, voice memo, translating it to text so that a consultant can perhaps deal with it. Where are you? Is it a good idea?
I mean, listen, today you can do that. So you see people talk on their phone all the time, but they're not talking to somebody. They're just transcribing something through Siri, for example, which then goes into a message like an Apple Business Chat. So you can do that today.
Okay.
That is an Apple technology that by using Apple Business Chat or native iOS functions exists today. Certainly there is technology like Siri and Alexa where you can do full transactions with the computer, with the cloud in that way. And we have some experiments playing around with that. We've not seen travelers adopt voice for transactions, automated voice, self-service for transactions in travel yet. I would never say never, but what we see is there's still a visualness to shopping for travel, seeing the hotel, seeing the rate. And I think people are fair to say in business travel, if you've stayed at the Hilton Canary Wharf 10 times, just tell Alexa to book the Hilton Canary Wharf. And I think that's fair. And I think there's definitely some use cases where straight to voice could be important. And so we're going to play around with those. But most people, even if they say that, they're going to say, well, is there a different property nearby that I've not stayed at that, maybe I'll just check the price this time? Or what if that property is, incredibly expensive because of a conference and I want to know that before I just say book? So the use cases for straight to voice without any feedback, are more limited than some of the other opportunities we have, but we'll continue to play with it.
And do you see or do you foresee any, slightly crystal ball here, but new channels perhaps, business travel in a super app environment, for example?
In a what environment?
In a super app environment.
Yeah, I mean, I think the carrier pigeon is my favorite channel that we haven't really deployed very well.
I'd like to see it.
So you have to fold the notes just perfectly, otherwise the pigeon drops it. Yeah. But otherwise, I think travel counselors would love to get messages that way. Listen, any channel is a good channel. Yeah. Any channel that, let me rephrase that. Any channel that a traveler wants to use is a good channel. Yeah. So corporate IM, native messaging experiences, Apple Business Chat, and on Android as well. Any way that a traveler wants to communicate. But I tend to find that travelers want to do what they do in their daily life. Yeah. Like they don't want to go out of the way. So we've had long debates about email as a channel. Email is a massive channel for us today. And we're working on tools to make it more efficient and delightful for both the counselor and traveler. I feel like people are wary of email, right? I know, but you know what? We all spend all day in our email inboxes. I know. So why wouldn't we want to book travel as long as it's efficient and quick in our email inboxes? And I think a lot of people will. So we're not about forcing people into that channel. We're about being where they want to be. Yeah. We've talked about calendar apps going back years. I think so I do think there's opportunities. For us, it's about a transactional platform and then making it accessible through a self-service versus human service cocktail. Yeah. Every channel needs to have a self-service component that allows simple transactions to be automated and then very simple, seamless escalation to an agent if it goes beyond that capability. And that's how we're approaching every channel, which starts as agent only first, then we layer on some automation to take care of the simple stuff that don't require an agent. And we will do that and repeat that pattern across dozens of channels. We already have 4 or 5 in that way, and we'll be continuing that.
Evan, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate it.